Starting. Awesome. Well, welcome. Today is July 2nd, Wednesday. And we had our monthly open, right, from last month. We closed, or rather, we opened and very bullish on Bitcoin and a few other things, actually, but I will get to that in a second. First of all, let's look at USDTD. So on the 8 hour here, or actually, I want to go start with the 8 hour, right? We made 3 drives up and we already are below range. I would expect this is basically a very choppy area still, but we already invalidated the entirety of 5.25. So, and we tapped into it again. Actually, we tapped into it again at this was Sunday, June 22nd. So really, what we're looking at here on the macro is kind of the same thing. I'm very, very, very bullish on this range, but I'm bullish with the chance of choppiness, right? Low time frame choppiness, low time frame noise. You're going to see pretty crazy sweeps, right? Pretty crazy ranges, but overall, the daily, the weekly, all of them show the same thing. All of them show that we're ranging from below the 50% level, which is the 5% on the daily, right, and the weekly. So draw is still going to be down to 3.3. So when we see this draw happen, there's going to be a big pump, right, a big pump in the market. Whether or not we hold that range underneath or we bounce from there really depends on later this year, right? Later this year, I'm thinking like August, September, right? We'll see kind of like a very big peak in the market. Because one thing that still has not been tapped is this 7% level up here. A lot of people are bearish, or rather, a lot of people have been bearish the past couple of weeks. I have not. Shorting this range for me was incredibly low RR, even though we are doing an internal seek and destroy here. This is an actual internal seek and destroy. We could still sweep these lows again, which I kind of expect if we tap 5% from this range. But if we zoom out on the daily, yet again, right? Even if we zoom out on the daily, we still already invalidated this daily inversion right here, right? So if we close right we are now, we could sweep this, or we could just go straight down at this point. So now you have 2 probabilities, right? 2 probabilities that are bullish, but in both cases are bullish, but really in only one case, we have a slight retracement, right? So shorting that to me just does not make any sense when we're talking about a move that's going to bring us from 5% all the way down to 3.4, right? So still going to retain my bullish bias here, irregardless of whatever noise happens in this low time frame range. And we're gonna stay along those lines, right? So same thing with Bitcoin dominance as well. Alt season is not canceled; it's just delayed. It took a little longer than expected, but now this weekly already closed below previous range, 65.38. We closed below it. We basically now have a flat red candle, or sorry, a doji, right? Doji red candle under 65.38 with an open gap, open IRL at 65. So when you're talking about draw, we already confirmed this. Now, the only question is from this range, we're seeing a pump right now. This pump could be the higher low until we sweep this range again, right? Which is why I'm still playing low leverage longs yet again, right? This is kind of like the continuous bias here, because even if we do this is showing the same thing. Even if we do see this pump as like, and we aren't able to close underneath like this range down at 65.2, which is likely, we could still go right back up again, right? We could see another dump in the market to 65.7 and then go straight down from there. So basically, in both cases, again, it's bullish. But if you want to play low leverage longs, that I think that's probably the best bet. And then you basically just keep adding to them based on the daily closures on this. And then when we get the weekly closure again, this next weekly closure is going to be important because when we close underneath here, it's going to draw back down, right? So we have 4 days and 6 hours to close below the yellow line again. And right now we're already below it, right? We're already below it, but the probability exists on the low time frame to sweep this high one more time in the next 4 days. So probability still favors longs, but with the expectation that when you were to take the long, you could still have 4 days where you see a wick through 65.7, but a weekly closure below 65.3. So that's just keeping that in mind going forward is probably the best bet. So yeah, let's go do Bitcoin real quick, and then I'll take requests as well. So I did this drawing of Bitcoin a little while ago. Everyone is expecting to long down here, and they were waiting for this, right? But it never came. I expect it to not come because at this point, we're going to see a manipulation of the highs, even if we re-range on the low time frame, right? We're going to do something like this. Even if we re-range, go back to 106, we're still going to see a manipulation of the high. Now, when we see this manipulation of the high of 110, I am going to switch short in my bias because of this equal highs. These equal highs are meant to be taken. Heavy liquidity, heavy stop losses are being put here. Market makers know that. They want to run those stop losses. And as soon as there's no more liquidity left to take, any re-range in consolidation is going to be bearish, right? And as soon as we close a daily or a weekly under 110 again, guess what's going to happen, guys? Going all the way back down to 90. Lower, probably even lower, right? So Bitcoin's topping out here. Going to be shorting it probably in the next all-time high. It's going to be looking really nice of a short. So I'm going to keep that on watch as well. I had some limits. I took them off, but I'm probably going to play this manually once we hit this range, right? So just got to play it on the market dynamics and then the structure when we get there. Don't just ape into things. So going into a few other, I have hype on watch as well. I think I mentioned this to you guys earlier. This is a pretty clean one. Once we get into this last impulse that we're about to take above 40, I had some limits up here. I might put them on. I might take them off, but I might play them manually. But this is honestly one of those charts that's like really, really clean. Once we push up into 40, past 40 again, and then reconsolidate, it's going to be bearish, and then state's going to shift probably for the rest of the year all the way back down to 16. Because we did have our second drive up here with an SMR on the daily, and an internal gap right at 38. So basically, this push up is going to be our manipulation candle, right? This next, probably in the next week, roughly week, yeah. It'll be the weekly candle. We take the short on, and then we ride that all the way back down to like $16 roughly. This will be a good one. So I'll post that when I take this position again. But yes, let's take a look at some of your requests, guys. First, let's look at Arc Soul. I think that was a request someone mentioned. I haven't even looked at this one ever. But just from a glance, this looks like a washing machine. Yes, hype setup. Well, I already shared hype. I already shared it in my channel. But I removed the limits temporarily because I wanted to play it based on market dynamics to answer your question. But I might put the limits back on. But really, I want to see the market dynamics play out when we reach those levels. Either one of the two, right? Market dynamics should play out when we reach those levels in hype, or I take the limits with a risk allocation of a smaller risk allocation, and then when the market dynamics do play out, then I will add in heavy, right? So, but yes, keep your eyes peeled. I will post the updates in my channel when that happens. So Arc Soul, let's take a quick look at this. This is incredibly bearish on the high time frame, on the high time frame range. So let's look at it from the perspective of just the internal weekly range that we're going to draw to on that. plus the previous low, which we did clear already. So let's do from let's play it like really simple here. We already closed above. So this is bullish on the low time frame, but bearish on the high time frame. So high time frame being the weekly and the monthly. We have a pretty clean structure here, and then in the gap on the 8-hour right here as well. I'll switch this to a negative PDA, and we're gonna run this from. I'm gonna run this analysis just from this closer range here on the 8-hour, 4-hour as well. This is the higher low. And there's our three drives of those ranges. We got 1, 2, 3, same as before. Actually, these two kind of line up. I'll put these in purple. This is basically the key levels that we actually just closed above. And then we got our higher low as well. So assuming we do market structure break here, I'll put this in yellow. Arc Sol does look good for the highs. Highs being somewhere in 5 cents, 5 to, yeah, 5 to, I guess anywhere. Let me take a look at the daily and weekly again. Daily, what does the daily have? Daily doesn't have much. Yeah, it doesn't have much. What about the 12? We do have a little bit of something up here. So I'll put this in too. Our range is pretty clean. They're probably seeing something up to here on the higher time frames if this range holds. So what we're going to see here is our market structure break. I want to see this 3-1 broken. So let's go back down to the lower time frames, which it looks like it's about to happen, right? 2-hour rebalanced on the 2-hour here. We want to see this broken, right? See that broken. And this range held, right? So from there, this will be our external range from this internal. So we're going to take this high first, take that high first, and then we retrace to bullish bias with OTE of that range, right? So it'll be this high followed by retrace to bullish bias at 0.26. Sweep, close above 0.28, and then aim for previous range high on the external. So somewhere up here, 3.7, same thing, 3.7, break, retest, 3.2, 0.32, and then up to 4 or 5. So something like that on Arc Sol, roughly. Now, once we get to 5 cents, it's going to be hairy because we are going to approach this range. So I would actually expect a pullback that goes quite low. So probably 3.7 and then back up to 8.2. Once we get back up to 8.2, we would need to see the retest back all the way down to 4. So this looks like a washing machine, but its range is good on the daily at the very least. On the high time frame, it's going to need a lot more work before we see anything above 10 cents. It's going to need a lot more work, probably not until next year, the very least, right? So for this, I would want to see this broken on the internal to external to the internal to at 0.26, followed by 0.37, followed by the retest, and then continuation. So hopefully that helps on Arc Sol as well. Let's check ARB, since that's another request here. I did ARB for you guys a little while ago. I think blue played out a little bit more. We kind of retraced a little more than I expected, but the range is holding. We held the 0.79, the OT fib of this range. So I'm still bullish here. There's no reason to be bearish from this level at all. So 8 hours as well. We reclaim yellow, which we're already above basically right now. We might not even see any retracements, right? We might not even get any retests at all because we already closed above yellow. We already closed above 6.2 OTE fib. We could maybe do something like this, very subtle retrace, but really at this point, the ARB draw is going to be all the way back up at like 60 cents, roughly 60 cents. It's going to be an impulse, right? This is going to turn into an impulse. It's going to bring us into a new range. After that, I want to see another consolidation. We're gonna retest previous range low at 42. Previous range low at 42 on the daily, right? This one cleared. All-time low, I'll say it. It's probably in. It's probably in for ARB. I don't think we're ever going to see prices low as this in our lifetimes, because as soon as we retest the 4.2, guess what, guys? This is a weekly gap. These weekly gaps open bring us all the way back up to like $1. That's the closest one that has not been tapped. All the way up to $1 right there, right? Because once we retest the 4.2, right? Retest the 4.2. Where's the closest to weekly? All the way up, guys. All the way up, right? All the way up. And then guess what? We're back in range after that, right? What's going to happen? ARB is going to retest this range at 7.5, and then it's just going to keep going, guys. It's going to keep going. So if you're not longing now, I don't know what the F you're doing with your life. So you're never going to see prices this low, right? On some of these altcoins. Um, so so hopefully you guys are keeping track, because I wish I had more margin to full port everything right now, but obviously risk management, right? So I'm going to stay bullish on these, irregardless of what the low time frame noise will tell me, right? The high time frame always wins, always, 100% of the time. High time frame wins all the time, right? So AVAX, another one. Taz, good request. High time frame always wins, right? We cleared this range. We're closing back in long bias. If we happen to consolidate here and break above 19 to 20, we're going to see 32. I think you asked the same thing before, and I will keep saying the same thing again, right? We want to see 32. We want to see 30. 32 is my magic number up here. Once we get up to like 30, 32, then everyone is going to be bullish. But what we could probably do is one of two things. We'll either retest this range and continue, or we retest this range and fail and go back down to 10, right? So hopefully that answers your question as well. Same thing applies. High time frame always wins. Um, so Melania, I'll do Melania as well. Melania is another good meme coin. I say good because if you look at this, someone who might look at this normally and be like, oh, this is a chart that's going nowhere. Well, I beg to differ, because if we're going to see a meme coin run, what I'm seeing here is the bottom, the absolute bottom. Because if we can close this weekly, right, here's the weekly, right? We just made a doji and now we're seeking internal. This week and next week, we have 2 weeks left. Melania needs to break and invalidate 2, 3, and will give us a possible second entry, possible like in like 2 weeks from now. So something like this, where we break this 2, 3, 2, 4, 2, 5, possible retest of 2, 3, and guess what? Same thing's going to happen. We're going to break and retest 2, 3, go back to break and retest 2, 6, 2, 7, but by then we're already in range, right? By then we're already in range. Where's the closest weekly gap? All the way up at $1, right? All the way up. Look at this. Ready? And it's going to shoot up like this. Bam. That's what's going to happen. Probably late July, August. Late July, August. And I'm telling this to a lot of the people who've been following me, is like, right now, what we're seeing is a lot of these coins that are quote unquote pumping. These are pumps for ants, guys. These are like 2 or 3% moves. This is not the altcoin season. This is just altcoins reclaiming high time frame ranges. And if we, basically the next, 2 to 3 weeks are going to be incredibly vital, because all of these coins that I'm showing you, and all the coins you probably are watching, are in the process of reclaiming their high time frame ranges. And if we can get those weekly closures to close back in ranges, we're going to see probably the biggest, and I think I mentioned this to you guys with Bitcoin dominance and in the others chart, we're going to see the biggest altcoin run we've seen in possibly a few years now. Years, right? Because the last time we've seen something like this was like back in 2020. I'm talking like a move that is effectively going to bring us back down from a range of like a 50% drop, right? 40 to 50% drop. And from where we are on this weekly, this lands us to like the range low lands us to like 35, right? Okay, it's not 50%, but it's 35%. On the high time frame, that leads us from the year we're in now, which is 2025, to 2027, roughly 2028, where we will see effectively Bitcoin dominance drop so far down to its lower range at 47, 49, 47 to 49% over the course of 3 years, right? So this altcoin season that's about to come will last 3 years. It'll give us plenty of entries for longs. Don't worry. But what we're seeing right now is the tectonic shift of liquidity of every single weekly chart, basically reclaiming high time frame ranges. So hopefully that helps you guide your long-term vision as well. So let's look at Nikon, NKN. This one also ridiculously bullish on this one. We deviated to the downside first. This looks absolutely phenomenal because we already have this one. This one is closing on this weekly. Right now, we are just like barely touching the 7-9 of this range. If we take the next 2 weeks and we happen to invalidate these bearish weeklies, guys, what's going to happen is we're going to be flipping three or four, three weekly gaps on the 3 weekly IRLs. And what's going to happen with this one? It's the same thing. It's going to seek the nearest open IRL, and the nearest open IRL I think is on the where is it? Yeah, there's like one on 39. We got some like very small, these are very small ones, but really what'll end up happening is the same thing here, right? We have this mount, and we'll probably see something where we go parabolic, right, to 17 to possibly 23, maybe even higher, right? Maybe even higher, because these have been tapped already, right? So 39 would really be the real target here. 39 cents on the weekly, right? So NKN is the same thing, right? But the next 2 to 3 weeks is basically this chart as well, reclaiming their high time frame ranges, right? Because this is currently an SMR right here, right? We have 1, 2, 3 levels tapped. We have two, look at this, 2 equal lows that we cleared already on the monthly, guys, because as soon as we reclaim this and this SMR holds, this is the all-time low, period. End of sentence. No one can argue with me here. This is the all-time low. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, if we clear this, then it's not going lower than this. So I don't know what you're doing with your life if you're shorting right now. So hopefully you're still bullish with me, because this is still not, everyone's like, so much fear. I've held through, what is it? I've held through 2 wars and bombings when everyone was shorting, and I'm still long. Because the high probability of closing on these weekly ranges is shifting bullish, and I want to be long from the bottom, guys. And I just want to keep adding, because once we close these weeklies, that's it. We're never seeing prices lower than this in our lifetime, right? So hopefully you guys are pay attention to that. So let's see what's next. Do you guys have any other requests? Nothing? XCH. Okay, great, beautiful. Yeah, everyone's way too bearish. I mean, come on. Yes, wars are normal. Everyone has wars. We have wars every friggin' 10 to 20 years. Markets still move. Markets still pump. XCH followed my line perfectly. As you can see, guys, I didn't make this up. I literally just pulled this chart up. I had this charted in, for 3 weeks now. Yellow line. So I'm not making this up at all. XCH also at the lows. There's no reason to be shorting this at all. This is one of those coins that if we hold the same thing, we hold this SMR at 7. This is a very high time frame SMR at 7.5, and we have a higher low already printed. We have a higher low printed already at 8.8. We could take it. At this point, I highly doubt it because of where we are now, right? We actually validated the bullish closure from the previous 2 days. The previous 2 days already validated the bullish bias here. So we are going way, way higher than we are now. And I'm long in this already. I'm holding. I'm not TPing until we're way above 12. I'm going to start TPing when we're at like 15 to 20, because that'll be when we start seeing resistance. But again, I have this jokingly, I have this all the way up here, but in reality, what'll probably end up happening is we'll go to 20, and then from 20, we're going to go and then do the same thing, do a retest, right? Do some sort of retest the previous range. But we already cleared. This is a daily, weekly, monthly quadruple equal low, which we cleared. And this is a yearly low, yearly, right? So if we retest this and it holds, the same thing's going to happen. This is going to springboard basically back up to on the weekly and the daily to possibly a new all-time high, right? Because all this is smooth liquidity all the way through. Same thing's going to happen, right? It's going to go parabolic all the way through. And if you guys are not paying attention, you're sleeping. So stop sleeping. This is we're never going to go. If we clear this range on the weekly, we're never going to see under $10 in our lifetime for this coin, right? So hopefully you guys are in that as well. I'm a little red, but on this because I got in too early, but whatever. As I said, high time frame always wins. High time frame always wins. Sometimes there's low time frame noise, but no matter what, high time frame always wins, and I like winning. So let's see what else is next. Casper. I'll see how quickly I can go through some of these. I know I started a little late, so I will see. I'll do let's see, 15 more minutes roughly, and then we'll go from there. So let's look at Casper. Same thing with Casper, right? Same thing, right? We have a deviation. This level here, this sweep. Look at this range. This range here. This is a weekly accumulation range, or rather, I'm sorry. This is a weekly manipulation range. And if you're familiar with the concepts of AMD, if you take a measured move of an AMD range, right? So I'll take a rectangle here. This is a measured accumulation, right? Where we have a low and a high. So here's our high, right? Here's our low. Very simple, right? Our measured move brings us to about a 50% at about a little under 22 cents, right? So now if we take the manipulation of that range, which is the break of it, right? It broke to the downside first. And I'll make this color coded so it's very clear for you guys. I'll make it red, right? We broke the range to the lows first. And guess what? What happened? We made closures back in range, right? We've been consolidating this whole time. Zoom out, guys. Zoom out. Because in a measured move, we get a distribution of 200% of the original accumulation. Where does that lead us? Where does that lead us, guys? Kind of obvious to me. It leads us into a new range. Look at this. Bam. Look at that. Bam, right there. 3 cents. We break 3 cents. And then guess what? Zoom out in the weekly. What is this? It's the same thing. Here's an accumulation. Here's a manipulation. Where's our distribution? 200% of that, guys. 200%. 200. That leads us to 22 cents on Casper. Yes, and guess what? It's going into price discovery after that. So on the monthly and the weekly, it's just going to keep going. So if you're not long on this one, I don't know what you're doing in life either. Sorry. This is also one of my very, very proud ones because I will keep adding to this one. If we consolidate here, we are never seeing under these prices ever in our lifetime because it's going to go into price discovery as soon as we re-range here. We re-range here. Guess what, guys? I'm adding more. I'm not TPing. I'm not going to take profits. I'm going to add more because this confirms this manipulation. I want to take profits when we reach the all-time highs, right? I'm in for the big gains, not the tiny pennies. So hopefully you guys are following me on this one as well. Cool. What else you got? Let's do XLM, and then let's go from there. XLM. I haven't looked at XLM for a while. This is a little weird. I'm gonna clean this up actually. This is a little weird. Let's check weekly again. What do we got here? Still in bullish bias zone. Yeah, still in bullish bias zone. I would say same thing here. The pump on this one is going to be pretty big. Monthly, quarterly, let's see what the quarterly is. Oh my goodness, guys. Holy smokes. Holy smokes, look at that. Quarterly, we already are above this quarterly gap. We already, if we basically consolidate here, this is also bullish. Also bullish. So yeah, I mean, we have a few months and a few weeks ahead of us, but like really what I want to see is something like this, right? We basically break this range, right? We go up to like 40 cents somewhere in the next like couple weeks, right? Next couple weeks, retest this range low, 28, right? Retest the range low, and then after that, guys, we are gone. We are gone, like gone, gone. Let's check the standard deviations on that, right? So weekly, we remount this on the weekly, and then this is just gone, right? Just the same thing, guys. XLM also pretty bullish on. This is a quarterly gap we tapped into. The only issue now here, though, is again, we have a few weeks left on this, right? We have a few weeks left on this candle. We could still do something like this where we sweep this low, right, to like 18 to 17 and then bounce. So it's a little iffy, but basically I'm still going to retain a bullish bias here. But we are very close, right? We are very close. It's basically in an accumulation zone right now where if you want to play this, for me, XLM's range is too wide, which is why I'm not playing it quite yet. But what I might do is actually, you guys gave me a good idea. If I take a weekly level, I would probably just set a weekly level on the greater than for XLM on the long confirm above 29 cents, right? But until then, it might just chop around here. But I'm still going to retain high time frame bullish for this range. It's just a little iffy. It's a little iffy here still. But yeah, hopefully that helps. We are just very close to a real alt season, but it's one of those things that everything is just setting up, right? The charts are slowly moving the weekly candle prints towards an alt season, but we're not quite there yet. I thought it would happen sooner, but just slightly delayed. So, gone like Donkey Kong. Yes, this is another one to gone like Donkey Kong. It's just a matter of like we need to be patient with this one. I'll probably just wait on this one a little bit, but it is pretty good. I'm very bullish on XLM as well as a project. It's a great project. Oh yeah, what's my Twitter? I have a YouTube. Oh my goodness. I also have. Hold on one second. Sorry. Finn, go upstairs. Go, go, go. Sorry about that. Cool. So yeah, let's see what else we got. Let's see. Sorry, I just lost track of everything I was just doing. Uh, cool. Okay, so let's see. Any other last requests before we continue? Oh, geez. Oh, DGen and Soul. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna do a couple more, and then I gotta run. Let's see. So DGen. I think I did degen for you guys a little while ago. Yellow, less probable. I did circle this as our long bias zone, and it looks like it is slowly respecting it, but we need to see. This range is a little lower. Yeah, we have open IRL to the lows, so um, this one is a little bit more tricky. This weekly, there's a gap right there. Yeah. Mm, yeah. So again, this is a little iffy. It's a matter of invalidating this, whether or not we can invalidate this gap and then break above, right? If we consolidate, if we basically just do like a very slow and steady consolidation of through here, right? And invalidating it, what's going to happen is it's going to just pop, right? because it's going to basically be flipping this weekly level. A lot of the charts are looking very similar. So this one, DGen as well, is looking very similar to the other ones I just shared because the next IRL is all the way up at like 16, right? So something like that. Otherwise, I would say same thing on the low time frame here. If we can't flip this on the weekly and we don't consolidate and continue to make, what you want to see is you want to see like higher highs, right? Higher lows and higher highs, right? If you can continue to see higher lows and higher highs, great. But honestly, if you want to risk from this, like you could just put a stop pretty tight on this, and just basically hold it, right? Just hold it for a while, and then eventually it'll pop, right? If we are able to invalidate this weekly, if we don't and you get stopped out, don't worry, because what'll end up happening is you'll be able to get in on the second leg, right? Because what'll end up happening is we'll sweep this low and then end up mounting it anyway, right? It's still bullish in both cases. It's still bullish because we've already confirmed after this point we already have a high time frame market structure break. So really, the high time frame structure already told us it's bullish, but on the low time frame, we are stuck between this weekly gap right now, and we don't know whether or not we need to break it first through consolidation, or we need to sweep the lows first. So kind of what I'm seeing on DGen. Let's look at Sol. Uh, Sol. I think I'm a little bullish on Sol here, more bullish on Sol here, only purely because wait, no, hold on a second. The weekly. Oh yeah, never mind. Bullish on the high time frame still. We need to close this weekly. It's the same thing, right? This week, if we hold this level on the weekly, then if we dipped, really the only dip we would be doing is like just down to like 142, right, before we continue. So really it's the same thing. Otherwise, lower time frame, slightly bearish, very, very, very slightly bearish. Yeah, very, very, very slightly bearish. So I would say like even if we go to, even if we go to like, this might actually be no, I wouldn't even short this. We got open IRL right above. This is a weird spot. We're like rebalanced on both sides. Price is basically right at the halfway point. It has an IRL above and then no real bullish SMR below. So like it's a crapshoot here. I would say really it's a one of two things is going to happen. Either we retrace and I would wait for the retrace to take the long. That would be a high probability long. Or we do the same thing. We break this market structure break from this range, and then continue, right? It, high time frame, same thing, right? Same thing I'm seeing. High time frame bullish, but it's literally the same thing from this range, right? We're way too balanced here. I would not short it. I would not long it. Yeah, actually. Yeah, I wouldn't short it. I wouldn't long it here. But I'll say this much. I am waiting for the big short. Once we get back above 200 on Sol, that's going to be the top, guys. We already topped out. If we can't clear and close above like 270, it's going to be topped out. I'm riding it back down to $30. That's it, guys. That's a quarterly shift that's about to happen on Sol. So if we do manipulate the highs first, I'm going to play the quarterly shift, short it all the way back down to 30 from like 250. So hopefully that helps. Yeah, I'm waiting for that because that's a lot more higher probability for me. Cool. So hopefully that helps. Oh yes, and A0 got a little bit early on this one, but I would say still bullish. The only thing that messed me up is the 2-day flats that happened, right? Oops, there was a flat right here. These flats, these equal lows. So it kind of sliced right through me, but high time frame always wins. Remember, I keep saying that. We have equal highs here with open gaps. Market makers do not. There's two rules. Market makers will never, and this is a fact. You can't argue with me here. Market makers will never put a coin to absolute zero, right? You name a coin, it never will go to absolute zero. It might go to very close to zero, like Luna, right? Luna never went to zero. Like even Luna, when it dumped, it never went to zero. People say it's going to zero. Yes, but it never did go to zero. It's actually at very, very low prices, but it's not actually true zero, right? So based on that rule, and the second rule is market makers do not like leaving liquidity on the table. It goes from ERL to IRL. So liquidity is in terms of external or internal. Right now we have internal liquidity right here, right on the daily. So we are still in bullish bias zone in this accumulation. So I held, even though I'm down quite a bit. I held even through this FUD, whatever it is, FUD, call it whatever you want, FUD equal lows, range break, whatever you want. I held purely because market makers don't like to leave liquidity on the table. So we already closed this daily right here. Actually, we already broke back above right now. And if we happen to close literally right where we are now, we're confirming my high time frame bullish bias, where even if we do sweep this low, it's going to end up going back above 7 in the end, right? It's going to go back above 7 cents. So when it does, whether or not this weekly closes above 7 cents and then continues, that's to say for later. But I do like these equal lows, equal highs right up here, plus an open gap. So I'm going to be taking TPs heavily in this range and then again up here. Probably trying to hold it for the $1, because as soon as that happens, it's going to turn into a market maker buy on the daily and the weekly, and then it's going to go straight up to $1, right? So same thing here, right? I might not even move my stop loss, because after that point, if we can close the weekly above here, even if we do retest these lows, I'll just add more. Actually, wait, I can't add more. Fun fact, MEXC actually added a constraint on A0 because of me. I jokingly, because of me, because I have so much A0 right now that they actually constrain you from buying more A0 because I bought so much, and I'm still holding it. So yeah, fun fact. You can't buy more than I think 15,000 contracts, but I have like way more than that. So yeah, gonna hold this until the range break and then continue on, right? So same thing here, no changes. It's just taken a little bit longer than I expected, right? So let's just keep playing on with our high time frame bias, because again, high time frame always wins. So cool. Keep me posted if you guys have any other questions. My DMs are always open. And if you have anything else, let me know, and I will post this recording on my YouTube later. And yeah, hit me up and stay green, guys. Catch you later.